Hey, welcome back to another episode of Let's Animate, the internet talk show that's sweeping the internet and the globe, and your grandmother's sewing circle, and your uncle's fantasy football league, and your dad's woodworking class. Everybody's talking about this show, everybody's digging it. It's fantastic. I'm back with a fresh cup of coffee. The laundry is done and no longer vibrating off to my right somewhere, shaking the whole basement, these ratty old tiny homed walls. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip and just kind of reset here. It's really hot in this coffee, though. Oh, yeah, that hurts. That bites my tongue, and not in a good way. We're back. We've got kind of a nervous face starting here. We got the bones, so to speak, which literally are not bones because that's an actual thing in this program. But we've got our baseline framework here for how this mouth is going to look. Hopefully it comes across as nervous. We might have to tweak the eyes and eyebrows. Give them an expression here that is a little bit less smiley. Suggests less happiness. Yeah, for right now, we're going to work on these arms here. What are these? Yeah, that's nice. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Roman from X number of days ago. That put these layers, segregated these layers quite nice. When I first started, I still remember my very first animation. We're going to go down memory lane here for a minute. Let's open that animation, actually. Yeah, let's do it. When I first started animating my very first video, I put everything, basically, not everything, but I put way too much stuff in single layers, right? Everything was just combined. Here's that plaid I was talking about, too. Everything was just combined into all in one layer, and it was ridiculous. So when it came time to actually do anything and move things around, you couldn't move the character. So I had a lot of these scenes where it was just something was happening, and this honestly looks better in the final product compared to this. There's some stuff that's missing here because they couldn't find the files. You can see all these X's. They couldn't find the files that I had put in here. I had in my head at one point that I wanted to do, my style was going to be my own animations, and I still like this idea, and I want to do some videos with that theme in mind. But my own drawings and animations mixed in with real world photos and stuff. Stuff that I take, stuff that I lift. Like I had, I may not be able to get it though because of, yeah, I don't know where that would be. Where would that be? In here. Nope. That's too bad. Yeah, see, dogs playing pool. I had the dogs playing pool. Might it be down here? Picture. Background textures. Yeah, there it is. Dogs pool. Right. So here we go. So yeah, in this case, see. So the this is an ugly wallpaper that I can't find. So it makes it look like it's not just white. It's an ugly wallpaper thing, and then dogs playing pool here off to the side. I don't know why I thought that would be funny. I still kind of think it's funny. Why, I don't know. But yeah, my point is, yeah, I had this plaid, right? Originally, it was like all one one layer. So if you wanted to move his arms, it's all got to go, right? And really, everything should be in in switch layers, right? So not everything, but a lot of the sudden movements and stuff should be in switch layers, so that you're not moving points. And even with the bones, if you had the bones in his arm here, trying to get all these points, added to it, you could add the whole layer. You could add the whole layer for this arm of plaid, say, but you wouldn't want this plaid to move when you move this bone. So you should have this plaid. If I had to redo this, the easiest, quickest way would be probably to segregate these layers: a layer here of plaid, and a layer here of plaid, so that if I wanted to move this arm, because originally I wanted him to bring his. Does he do it? No, he doesn't do it. Originally, I wanted to bring his arm up and take a drag of on the smoke, and I couldn't do that easily, because I would have to go in and add all the points associated with just this plaid bound to just this arm, and then move this arm around. And then underneath, there was some stuff going on that I didn't know how to deal with, like the strap of this overall. When I move this arm up, this strap shows, and everything looks just kind of funny. And the best thing that came out of this whole thing was this guy's image, and this is the head, the face that I want to use as being me, as being the sort of mascot for this channel. But anyway, my point is that the layers, right? All this plaid is on the same layer. So if you ever want to move pieces if you wanted to move the whole body over, well, yeah, it's fine, because the whole plaid layer would just go with the body. But if you want to move just this arm, or just this arm, or bend them down, or do something, right? All these points, tick, 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 associated with all this plaid is all in one layer. And that's why everything is just over here, just kind of sitting and not in bone layers, because this ended up just being a really basic scene. I ended up, and I think ended up working all right. Very subtle movements, right? Just the curtain, just the smoke, and that's what I worked on when I was practicing, was just getting the basics done here, and then my first attempt at a switch layer, which was having her come in, and then I did actually get to use a bone, because I did move him. So where does that bone layer go then? Or maybe it's not even in a bone layer. It might have just been a rotation of his head. Oh no, his head is in a bone layer. I can't find face. Okay. Must have been a reference image I was using or something. So there is a bone layer there, but yeah, anyway, it was an interesting go, it was a very interesting learning experience that I enjoyed. Anyway, we're back here in the current, well, maybe not the current day and age, but it's more current than that video was. Working on this guy, and so I thank myself, Mr. Roman of X number of days or weeks ago, for having the foresight to put these arms in a switch layer separate from the hands. You could argue that the hands should be with each their own, but in this case that's not necessarily true, because they're both the same. That's cool. We'll just add another layer in here, and then we'll call this nervous hands, because there's not going to be a lot of movement. They don't need to be on their own. We're going to switch the hands. They're going to go from here, from something else, maybe tapping a pencil, and then they're just going to switch directly to nervous hands here, and that's what we're going to work on right now. These nervous hands are going to be in front of the arms and in front of the mouth. Yeah, it's going to have to be like that. And then so they're just going to be in one spot and then in another spot relatively quickly. Does that look nervous at all? I don't think it does. Relaxed arms and arms. What is he on right now? He's on, yeah, so these are also both the same. So we're just going to duplicate this, and we'll just call it nervous arms. Nervous arms, there we go. And then we will What do we want to do? You want to flip it probably something like this, something like this, something like, yeah, it's gonna be a strange one there. I mean, it's not that hard. We just pull this back down to here, drop this point. It's all just moving points. When you really think about it. I did want to talk about something today, and as I was up getting my coffee just now, I took a look outside, and just to see what's going on in the world. You know, don't want to get too pulled away from the real world while I'm down here talking to the ether, away from the greatness of the wider world. And I was looking at the weather, and it's gotten like it's warmer here now. It's yeah, it looks all right already. Kind of looks like he's excited though, like he's biting his fingers in anticipation as opposed to nervousness. So maybe we'll throw some eyebrows or do something with his eyes that's different. I don't know. We'll see what we can figure out here. But yeah, I was looking at the weather. What's the date today? It's April. Let's pull back the veil here. It's April 11th right now today, and we're losing snow. We're losing snow like pretty quickly. But this is small town Canada, northern Canada, this province. Have I said before the province that I'm from? I don't know. I'm from Ontario. Spoilers. Small town, northern Ontario. And, what? Oh, yeah, we got a ton of snow over the winter, as we normally do. And it's April, and it's still, I mean, there's still a lot of it. It's kind of hard to really express just how much snow is out there, but you know, it's you would still measure it in feet, I think. Like if I go out in it's hard to say because snowbanks on the street, you know, they mislead you because the plow goes by all year and piles of snow. But like my wife still can't see up. You got to inch out out of the driveway into the street and look and make sure no one's coming, and that's still the case. But then again, like I said, those are snowbanks, right? It's not really a clear indication. This guy looks way too happy. It's not really a clear indication of what's going on. But if you look in my backyard and you look, let me just look at my reference image here. You look in the backyard and you look in, so the thumbs sticking out seem to be an important feature. So we'll make sure that the thumbs stick out, and then the hands can just be like a gelatinous blob of, yeah, so this is backwards, right? If you were that way, if you were facing that way and you had your thumbs would be sticking out. It's your right hand, so your thumb would be on this side, correct? I think. Yeah, so anyway, so we got tons of snow. It's melting fast, though. It's going. Like, it will not be around forever. Usually, you know, we could say late April, May, you know, you can start to call the snow gone or mostly gone. But until then, I mean, it's still snow. It's got to be dealt with. It just has to be dealt with in a different way than it does throughout some of the year. And the way that I've been dealing with it now is moving it in slush form because it's melting, and this is kind of obnoxious. Why is this? I need midpoint ones to hold on to it here. That's annoying. Draw that into there. Draw that up to there. Yeah, so it's melting. It is melting fast. It's turning into slush. It's and it's causing problems. Just puddling, and then it freezes overnight, and it turns my driveway into a skating rink. And there's kids, there's old people, there's all kinds of activity going on that are responsible. I'm saluting my coffee mug right now. You can't really see this, but I'm kind of saluting my coffee mug up, like, yep, taking recognition here. Responsible homeowner should be doing something to take care of that. And so I do. I chip little things away and let the melting snow drain out. And anyway, the point of all this is to talk about futility and that sensation that you've done something, you've worked so hard on it, and spilled your at least your sweat, if not your blood and or tears, but at least your sweat has been spilled, and then you wake up the next day to see that it has snowed overnight. And that's what happened to me yesterday. I spent a good portion of granted it was a beautiful afternoon. The sun was shining. There were birds out, kids coming home, playing outside and jumping in the puddles and having a grand old time. So all that was fine and lovely and reminiscent of a painting of some description. And so that was fine. I'm glad that existed. But to do all that sweat, the thought process of figuring out, okay, if I chip here and do this here and then shovel this over here, will that get rid of this water here? That'll let this water drain. That will let this happen, and figure it all out and get the water where it needs to go and wants to go into the ditch, and do all that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he really looks excited now. He looks really like, oh my god. Which, that isn't too bad. I mean, we could change this and turn this into an excited reaction. If this is what's happening this could be a good idea here. Just hear me out. If this is what's happening after Mickey starts to clap, after we know that everything's going to be okay, after, just going in, and from here, if we give, this is going to, and this is the problem again that I have, new ideas that crop up. I want to be flexible and roll with the punches and all that, but when new ideas crop up and, and you can't even see what I'm really looking at here. You're looking at something totally, I'm looking at the rendering with everyone, and just, this will give you a little bit of an idea anyway. So let's get off of that so that you can see. He's a happy fellow, right? Like he's so after Mickey's clapped and we come back in and everything is going to be okay, and we see that, and maybe we have everybody change to something a little bit happier. Is this maybe his happy face? If that's so, what is his nervous face? And if that's so, what is his happy face, and his happy action? Maybe we should just try to transform this into something more nervous looking. What do we do to make this more nervous looking? Let me go back to my reference material. Wide pupils, sweat thing, wide pupils, and maybe shifty-eyed off to the side. So wide pupils off and down, eyebrows that kind of loop up in a non-consistent manner, and less of a maybe less of a bulbous smile type thing here. We do eyebrows that are kind of like, huh? And we move his pupils down into the side. Let's just do that real quick here. Let's just save this. And then let's find his eyes. Thank you, Roman of ages ago, who did this. Nervous eyes. And we'll take these pupils and we'll shove them way down here. We'll shove you way down here. And we'll shove you way down here. And we'll shove you way down here. Now, if I render this, he still looks happy. He's just looking in a different direction. So what if I also give him... Okay, let's do a new switch layer. Call this browse. Make sure it's out of that switch layer, which it is. New vector, none. Throw that in the browse. And then new vector, nervous. Nervous. I want to put an E on the end of everything. Am I really that French? I don't think I've got any French in me, but nervous. Black and black. How do we want his nervous brows to look? How do they look in the reference material? They shoot up. One's big and one's small. SpongeBob's nervousness is just his normal eyebrows. But this guy's nervousness kind of goes like this. And then we want another one that's kind of the same. Twist it this way, shrink it, and go like this. That's better. Although they're very, very thick. Can we take the stroke off of that? And then look at it. It's better. I need to, as much as I like the way his hands are like that, I want to, yeah, so I like the way his hands are like that. So I'm going to duplicate this layer and I'm going to call it excited hands. Just to keep it there in case we want to go back and do something with it. And then on nervous hands here, I will try my best to bring this back to something. Maybe when we want to change his mouth first. Let's see if we can change his mouth first. If that, again, same thing, excited. And then we're going to change the nervous one. And we're going to try to bring it down to something more. And then my reference material, it kind of comes narrow. A thickness here gets narrow and then comes back up a little bit. It's going to be hard now with these teeth in the way, but we should. Which point is that? Is that this one? No. Is that this one? No, it's this one. Put that there. Put that there. This one is one. No, this is one. Can we just delete this one point? There we go. Makes it a little bit too bulbous. Can we delete that point? Want it to be a little bit more fearful looking. We want this to be unnervous. There we go. That looks a little bit better. It's amazing what just sweeping this in, what a difference that makes. Just bringing this in a little tighter. It just gives him that image of being a little bit more fearful. Just a pinch more unsure, a pinch more cautious, a pinch more everything, just a pinch. We're going to take a look at this real quick and then we'll call it. I think that's better already. He looks nervous. Yeah. Yeah, that looks much better. He's shocked. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That might have hurt. My apologies. But he does look much more uncertain. He looks more flabbergasted now. He's not really nervous, nail biting nervous. Maybe we won't do the nail biting with the things flipping off. If we come back and he's just kind of statically like this. This guy's going to be moving. This guy's going to be whistling. I'm not even pointing at the right things for you. This guy's going to be scratching his head. This guy's going to be whistling, and there'll be notes coming out, and his little perverted face there might keep pulsing or something in and out. We'll figure that out later. I had planned to just be static and him also be static. It would be nice if one of these guys was moving in some way. If we have him just kind of shaking his head, we could have him kind of vibrating with nervousness, right? If he's just kind of trembling, we could have sweat. I've done the sweat thing a lot. Just little beads of sweat running down his face slowly. That'll work. Just to have something moving. I like to always have something moving in different areas, just to let your eye constantly think something is going on. It's like the old Hitchcock trick, right? Most of everything is static, but if you drop in a few movements here and there, it tricks your brain into thinking, oh yeah, something is going on. I guess it doesn't really trick your brain. It is the case that something is going on. But yeah, I will cut it here. We'll come back. We'll finish our talk about futility, because futility didn't really last long in this episode. Kept getting distracted. We will do some sweat on this guy, and everything's going to be fantastic. But until then, thanks very much. See you soon.